It's finally here. Today's the day. Count your lucky stars and all your blessings that you were able to live long enough to experience this historic moment with me. The worst prank ever. An achievement that I don't bestow upon anything lightly, but once I go over this with you, I think you all agree. This is the worst prank that has ever been done. Behold the glory of the sucker punch prank, where a man on TikTok suffering from a terminal case of clout delusion is claiming that his series of attacks on strangers in a park is actually just part of his highbrow comedy series of pranks. I'll break the prank down for you because it's a pretty complicated one. So he went to a park and then sucker punched two strangers in the back of the head, and then threatened them with a gun, and then asked for one of their cell phones. Are you laughing? I mean, how could you not be? Haha. Really, timeless classic humor, really. I mean, that's a gut buster. That's some side-splitting comedy. He's been arrested for it, to no surprise, because he went up and just blatantly assaulted people and is calling it a prank. And then he even did an apology press tour, where he was interviewed after the fact. Let's go ahead and take a peek at it.
We're learning more about one of those social media pranks that is hardly funny.
A 19-year-old runs up on two unsuspecting people and sucker punches them in the back of the head.
Yeah,
This is not a prank. He just blatantly runs up and assaults two strangers while his friend is filming it.
Well, he's regretful. Honestly, I didn't expect him to answer the door, much less come out and talk. But tonight he says he regrets the behavior so many are now condemning online.
I'm not omniscient, but I'm going to tell you with 100% certainty, the only thing he's regretful of is that he's getting punished for it. That's it. He doesn't regret the actions.
Park, where he's accused of randomly punching strangers. Do you regret it?
Yes, I do.
19-year-old Alfred Lewis spoke with me about how he feels about it now.
You know, I just made a mistake, and everybody makes mistakes.
It's incredible how quickly that statement made me want to puke. I've never gone from feeling okay to ready to just expel bile like a fucking exorcism quicker than that statement. I've just made a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes. You fucking assaulted two strangers. They could have easily died from this. Blows to the back of the head are extremely dangerous. Sucker punches are extremely dangerous. You combine these two cowardly forces into this unholy fusion dance of degeneracy. What fucking mistakes are you talking about? This is planned, premeditated assault that you filmed the crime of. It's fucking crazy how dumb people have become. And dangerously dumb at that.
This is the video in question, first shared with KHOU 11 via the Nextdoor app. In it, you can clearly see Lewis striking a man in the head from behind before he turns around in shock.
Obviously, sucker punching is a super cowardly thing. I think the second you throw a sucker punch, you lose your right to call yourself a man. I think it is one of the single biggest bitch-made things you can do that instantly loses the respect of pretty much everyone in the world. But this guy takes it a step forward. This fucking coward not only throws a sucker punch, he throws it to the back of their head. Is there a single bigger pussy on the planet? I don't think so. I challenge you to find someone that's a bigger pussy than this guy, because not only is it a sucker punch, it's a behind-the-head sucker punch, which is, of course, the most dangerous punch you can ever throw. Blows to the back of the head are no laughing matter at all. It's extremely fortunate in this case that nobody ended up dead from this. What he's done is foul. It is downright sickening. It is, by all definitions, just an assault on two strangers that have done nothing wrong. Out of nowhere, just a completely random, unprovoked attack that they filmed. And I just have to point this out, the punches that he throws are the most pathetic punches that video cameras have ever had the misfortune of capturing in the history of moving pictures. It is unbelievable how awful these punches are. He throws it horizontally like this, and he hits him with this part of his hand like he's trying to knock on a door. The reason that he brings a gun, I imagine, is because he knows if anyone tries to fight back after getting sucker punched by him, he would get his ass beaten and eaten. So he brings the gun as a deterrent so he doesn't end up getting fucked up. But I still can't get over these pitiful little patty cake punches that he tosses out there. They're not even knuckle sandwiches, because he doesn't use his fucking knuckles. They're like, Weenie Hut Juniors. Like Sloppy Sally's. I don't even know what you'd call a punch like that. It looks like he's starting to go for a classic motorboat move where a stripper throws her tits around like this, but he throws it as a punch. It's fucking crazy.
I know, from the video, all you see is, the bad part about it, but, what people didn't see was that I shook his hand after and how I had gave the man a hug.
By hug, are you referring to the chokehold you put one of them in after you asked for their cell phone, threatening them at gunpoint?
He initially held the complainant at gunpoint. Then, when the complainant refused to give up his cell phone, he hits the complainant in the head and puts him in a chokehold.
His statement here actually had me pause the video the first time I watched it and sit back and just reflect on the state of the world. This guy just said, you only see the bad parts about my assault. You didn't see the good stuff, where we shook hands after and I gave him a hug. What the fuck? What in the world? Oh my goodness gracious. That was a real statement said by him. Let that sink in. Let that marinate. Just let that stew for a second. After I sucker punched this guy, threatened him with my gun, put him in a chokehold, we shook hands. We were totally fine. He understood it was just a prank. I mean, I said it was just a prank, bro. Yeah, like, let's play with this for a moment. Hey, so I went up and I stabbed this guy for my TikTok prank, but don't worry, it was of course in a non-vital spot. He's going to live, and we ended up becoming really good friends, and I kissed him on the lips, pat him on the ass and told him, get to a hospital, buddy, and thanks for being a part of the content. It's fucking wild. This whole idea of, like, public assault as a prank is something everyone on the internet has made a joke about because of how extreme pranksters have been getting with just becoming either public nuisances or doing public assault on strangers. He's not the first one to do this, he's just the first one to do it in this way, with actually just beating people up in public and calling it a prank. And it's something everyone has joked about, saying like, yep, that's the trajectory we're on, and we're there. Hey, we did it, we made it. We're at the point where now sucker punching and threatening people with a gun is something that I guess some people on TikTok view as a prank.
That is something we cannot verify, nor can we confirm that another man seen in the video getting punched and grabbed later left on good terms, according to Lewis.
I really didn't expect for it to just go so left,
I mean, honestly, who could have seen this coming? I don't think there's anyone out there that could have predicted this outcome. You can't just punch strangers in the back of the head anymore without people getting all up in arms and upset about it? Pfft, God, we've all become so soft now. I could have never imagined this would go so left.
And your mom's probably disappointed.
Yeah, she is.
Lewis said the harsh reaction to the video will make him rethink his behavior and hopefully be a lesson for others.
Before you go out and you do anything that you feel is bad or that could look bad, make sure people know, or just don't do it at all.
It's a lesson I don't think anyone in the world needed to learn, because we all know that. We're born with that knowledge. We know not to just run up on complete strangers and brutally fucking assault them by hitting them in the back of the head with a sucker punch. I think everyone knows that. Like, you have to override that intrinsic trait that we're all born with. The only lesson here is that this guy and his friend are extraordinarily stupid and they need to go to jail for what they've done. You assaulted two strangers, threatened them with a gun, you need to go to prison for that. You can't do that. It's illegal. That's the lesson. Full stop. There's nothing about if you're about to do something that could make you look bad, maybe don't do it. It's not that. You did something bad. It didn't just make you look bad, you did something very bad. And now you should face the punishment for it. That's the lesson. That's the only lesson here. But I want to point something out. We just reached an extremely dangerous milestone in our development as a species. The level of brain rot and mind poison that people are experiencing now has started to convince at least some people that sucker punching and pulling a gun out and threatening someone with it is not a crime, it's a joke. And they'll do it for social media attention. You remember Y2K, the fear that the world's ending in the year 2000, technology's gonna come and fuck us in the butt while we're all sleeping, it's the end of it? Well, maybe they weren't super wrong, they just had the calendar miscalibrated, they didn't, adjust it properly to account for daylight saving time, the angle azimuth, all those calculations. Maybe they meant it in this way, where in 2023 years after the death of Jesus Christ, we have reached the point where technology is turning people's brain into fucking mush, and it's turning them into monsters that will just assault people because it could get them attention online. Just food for thought. Maybe Y2K wasn't the most outlandish thing ever. Who really knows? But yeah, I mean it when I say, this is the worst prank I have ever seen now. Without question. That's about it. See ya.